I mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your seat aisle.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like was he on the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I struck out 17, I like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sure, I'm a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. A couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's fit. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. Into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here on this Friday from our Click Here digital campus on Interline Avenue down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in between Drusilla and Airline, and always online at clickheredigital.com. And daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over at RMB. Remember, they can custom build you a house. They can reconstruct a house for you. They can add on anything that you're looking to do, whether it's residential or commercial. Get in touch with Rhett at rmb-builders.com and at rmbbuilders on Instagram. Today on our phone line, brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Of course, Southern Regional Medical Center, real doctors, real solutions. We are going to talk to Jake Crain at 8:15. We will get a preview of the college football weekend from Crain. We'll recap a little bit about what happened in week 1, but we'll look at some of the big games, including Texas traveling into Tuscaloosa this weekend for a huge college football matchup that we'll talk about with Jake coming up inside of the second hour today. We're also going to talk to Jack Kavich from Tiger Air. If you remember this story that we talked a little bit about before the football season, during the summer, of course, the football helmets that have the air conditions in them. Tiger Air's got a new product that's actually going to be a sponsor of the show. I've got it charging over here. I'm going to show you what it is. But it's a little clip-on to your hat that you can use for keeping you cool, whether it's out at the games, whether it's in in the arena. But Jack Kavich is going to be through here at some point this morning, and we are going to talk to him about what's the latest and what's happening over at Tiger Air. Really looking forward to catching up with Jack coming up here in at some point over the next 2 hours. Joe Burrow paid. How about it, Stewie? Joe Burrow becomes the highest paid football player of all time yesterday with a record-breaking contract paying Burrow $275 million, with $219 of it guaranteed, what makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. What a rise, man. What an unbelievable story for Burrow as they get the deal done here going into the season, as it looks like he'll be a full go here going into week 1. But having a front row seat, all of us, right, having a front row seat at this march to becoming the highest paid football player ever has been fun and unbelievable to have LSU and South Louisiana a part of this story. So really cool. Congratulations to Joey B. Congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengal fan base. What an incredible player that you have locked up for at least it feels like another decade. Hopefully it's filled with championships and more contracts, because Burrow feels like he's a guy that could play until he's 40 if they can keep him healthy. But much deserved for Joey B, as he is the highest paid player in NFL history. Now all eyes turn towards to Justin Jefferson. As far as the 2019 squad goes, Jefferson will be the next up to set the market for the wide receivers. He'll be next up at the table, and that will set the pace for Jamar Chase, who will be at the table next summer. So a lot of good happening to that 2019 LSU team, and it starts with the captain and Joe Burrow as he becomes the highest paid NFL football player in the history of the game. Speaking of the NFL, it got underway last night, and what a opening win for Man Campbell and the Detroit Lions as they roll into Arrowhead on ring night, where Roger Goodell is in the house. They are recognizing the champs, handing out Super Bowl rings, and a different Lions. This is not your dad's Lions. This is not your former Lions. This Lion team's, I got to be honest, Stewie and I were talking before we came on, reminds us a lot of the New Orleans Saints of, kind of the early days of Sean Payton, when they were really kind of resetting and changing the identity of the franchise, where they were becoming much more physical. They were drafting a lot better athletes. They were having playmakers all over the place. Detroit looks like one of those squads that you're going to have to look out for this season. We were talking about that North, that black and blue division is what they used to call it, with Chicago and Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. You think about those teams going into the season. Green Bay is replacing Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love. This is a prove-it year in Chicago for Justin Fields. It could go good, but you don't really know. Obviously, you've got Kirk Cousins up in Minnesota, and then you look at that Detroit team and the way they played last night, and the way that Goff played as well. As Jared Goff threw for over 250 yards and a touchdown and made some really big throws and some big moments last night, and a couple of key additions to the Lions' backfield. David Montgomery looks like he's a nice addition. Second-year player Amon-Ra St. Brown had 6 catches and a big touchdown last night. I was very impressed with Detroit last night. I mean, I know that Chris Jones was out. I know that Travis Kelce was out. But still, to be able to roll into Arrowhead on that night, there's a ton of emotion inside of that game. I was impressed with Jahmyr Gibbs, too.
You think Chris Jones was – you think the Chiefs missed Chris Jones last night?
Well, I mean, Jones was in the building.
Yeah.
He putting pressure on him, man.
I mean, Coach, man's got agents from The Sopranos, huh?
Yes.
Jeez.
I mean, he is.
He's got the Italians on it.
Well,
break your legs.
He is. He got a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
Got a lot of leverage, and I'd imagine that they probably get that deal done today.
Hey, Andy.
They probably stayed late last night to get that deal done, but The champs fall, and they go to 0-1 on the season. They're at Jacksonville next week, so no let-up. Jacksonville looks like a team that they may be on the come-up as well. Saints are going to host Tennessee this weekend, so the Saints will be in the Dome for week 1 of NFL action if you're looking for it. And we'll talk a little bit about the Saints as the Derek Carr era begins in New Orleans. Carr, after 9 seasons with Oakland and Las Vegas, will be inside the Dome for his first official start with New Orleans. Of course, look, Kamara's going to be out. He'll be serving the first of a 3-game suspension, so he'll be missing this one as the Saints, they struggle without Kamara. I think they've been without him 10 times. I think they're 3-7 without Kamara in 10 games without him since 2017. So hopefully this group will be able to pick up the slack. They got Jamal Williams, of course, and Kendre Miller, who they drafted out of TCU to take the place of Kamara, and hopefully they can carry the load kind of by committee until Kamara can get back for week 4. All right, so Brian Kelly was speaking to the press yesterday. Obviously, these are the last times that we hear from Kelly during game week. He meets with the press post-practice on Thursdays, and then he heads over to TJ Ribbs for his weekly radio show and stops in with Chris Blair. Here's some of the things that he had to say yesterday. Stewie, we can just run them down here from his opening statement down. Kelly yesterday inside of LSU football operations talking about the week of preparation going into Grambling on Saturday.
Man, read social media about you and how bad everything is, how the world's about to end.
Must follow the show.
All right. Somebody's got to have a good question.
Ooh, pressure.
This week.
Let's see what I.
Was that it?
Oh, that was his opening statement.
Yeah, but I mean, was that the cut?
That was
was that you or Lloyd?
That was me.
All right.
That's how he started the press
Yeah,
conference.
no, I saw it.
So I just kind of.
Who's this? This is Wilson Alexander.
Wilson,
yeah,
first
he stepped
question.
up. That was a pressure kind of like, let's see.
Yeah.
All right, good job, Wilson. Let's see. He asked him about Lance Hurd, right off the top. Let's see what he had to say about the freshman tackle.
Yeah, I think the plan is to get him in, certainly, with the first unit. And see how that mix goes as well. And look, I think part of it was, to take an offensive tackle going against Florida State's defensive ends didn't seem to be the smartest thing to do in week 1. But, I think in week 2, I think this is a good opportunity to get him in and give him an opportunity to play a little bit. So excited about getting a chance to see him play.
Other players, and I expect Lance Hurd to be in the starting lineup by the time LSU gets the SEC play. We didn't talk a lot about the Miles Frazier news this week, but obviously there was a Florida State defensive lineman who made a comment that LSU's offensive line during the game told them that, you guys are good. And, the Florida State defender said, once they heard that, they were ready to eat. And, look, I'm not here to talk about that stuff, but I think that the days are numbered on this starting lineup for the offensive line. I think that Lance Hurd is one of the best 5. I think he is one that LSU looks and says that's their best group, and I think that this is the weekend where we start to see that push of him cracking that lineup, and by the time Mississippi State is on the field versus LSU, I expect him to be out there in the starting group. Here's some more players that Brian Kelly was speaking about that we could see this weekend. Some wide receivers that he expects to play.
Guys, I think Chris has deserved the opportunity to play some more regardless. If we're playing, and Grambling is going to present a great challenge for us. I think Chris, and again, regardless of the competition, regardless of who we were playing, Chris is he's put himself in a position in the way he's practiced to get more reps. So Chris is going to be in the mix and getting out there. He's shown enough to me in the way he's handled himself that he deserves to get in there. Sheldon's still learning. It's still a process with him. And he's getting there. And look, there's a lot of freshmen that travel for us and we took them on this the trip because we wanted them to get that experience. And a lot of these guys will get there, but they're still cooking. They're still in the oven. And I think we'd be a little early to take them out, but they're going to start popping and start playing this year for us, and he's certainly one of them.
That's good to hear on Chris Hilton, really. I think that of the group, I think Chris Hilton has this skill set. It's kind of like when you describe Trey Bradford in the running back room. Like not that they're all the same guys, but there are a lot of skill sets that are very similar in the room as the collection of talent is sitting there. And there's one outlier, right? And to me, it's kind of it's Bradford in the running back room, and I think it's a combination of Aaron Anderson and Chris Hilton in the wide receiver room, right? I think when you look at those two guys at wide receivers, they can do a little bit. They can do something different. Chris Hilton can stretch the field. His speed is world class. He's a game-breaking type talent that has always been that. I mean, if you have followed Chris Hilton's career, and we've done that, I have, down here in South Louisiana, just because I'm a big fan of the Zachary Broncos football program. David Brewerton has always been great to me as a young media member, and even like a young kid going around his Catholic High teams. He was always great to you always knew that Brew was going to be a great coach. I mean, even when he was a player, you could tell that he was going to be a great coach. And just following him and really kind of becoming closer to him when he was on that Redemptor staff and kind of building a friendship through Livonia and now at Zachary, I've always followed him and been a fan of his program. And, his first state championship was won by Chris Hilton taking a 70-yard screen route at the end of the game to win it versus West Monroe. I mean, like that was his first state title. Chris Hilton was a sophomore making that play on that field. I mean, think about that. To be a 10th grader on the field of the 5A state championship game versus West Monroe in the Dome and take home, I don't know if that was Zachary's first state championship ever, but it was the first under Brewerton and the first in a long time, if it wasn't the first ever. And, Hilton has always been that dude. He's always been a guy that's been a big-time playmaker. Was never afraid of the moment. And I know that he went through some things kind of early on where he had some drops in practice and, some things where the coaches loved what he could do but not necessarily trusted him to put him out there in a game situation. It's time now, right? I mean, like, it's time. He's paid his dues. He's done the time. He knows the offense. You hear what Brian Kelly has to say about him. And I would once per game, like at least minimum one time per game. If you remember this, they used to do this with Benny Brazil. Benny Brazil was a track/football guy. He's still on the staff with the track program. And once per game with Jamarcus, they would send Benny Brazil deep. And if nothing else, a lot of times they would connect with it. I remember the first time that LSU played Urban Meyer in Florida inside Tiger Stadium. Urban Meyer's first year at LSU, at Florida, his first time at LSU. Benny Brazil caught like a 70-yard bomb on the opening drive of the game that, was kind of like, it puts this pressure on the defense of now you have to defend this all day. Oddly enough, I think Benny Brazil was number 17. Same number as Chris Hilton. But once and after you hit it one time, then you kind of go back to it. But it put this pressure on the defense where you had to always respect it. And even when he was out there, you always were thinking about it. It was always in your head. It was something that you had to defend against. So I just think that Chris Hilton's got to play every game. I mean, I would put him out there. I think that there's got to be 12, 15, 18 plays a game where Chris Hilton can be out there. I mean, I think he's that good. He's got a skill set. He does something that not necessarily anybody else can do. And there can't be that many DBs that can run step for step with him. I mean, like, if he decides to put his head down and sprint, I just think that's a huge problem for defenses. All right, more from Kelly here. Here he is talking about the injury report heading into Saturday.
Yeah, Goodwin is upgraded to probable, and I think Anderson as well. Both of those guys are probable.
More from Kelly, and that's good to hear about Armani Goodwin. Hopefully he can crack the field and get back into it so he can start to really get back into football shape. Brian Kelly was asked about some of the hits that Jaden Daniels took on Saturday and what the message has been this week to his quarterback.
I think he needs to be a little bit more, smarter in the things that he does. We don't want him to be anybody else but Jaden. But I think he can be a little bit more prudent in some of the decisions he makes. But he's always run that way. So we're not going to change him too much. But, trying to jump over the pile, I think we can tamp that down a little bit.
If you remember last year, that was a lot of the concern about Jaden Daniels, is that he ran in between the numbers so much. I mean, in the SEC, the game is violent in between the numbers. I mean, obviously, if you want to play quarterback, you want to, maybe look for the sideline, try to get down, try to, limit as many hits as possible in between the hash marks and the numbers on an SEC football field. It's as close to the NFL comparison as you can find. So from Daniel's standpoint, jumping around in the middle of the field, that's just not going to work. I mean, I thought he was almost a little lucky last year to make it to week 12 before he was injured in the style and the play and the way that he plays. But, like Brian Kelly said, and I agree, you don't want to change somebody. You don't want to overwhelmingly change someone. But if you're going to count on somebody to touch the ball every single play and be your quarterback, you got to make smart decisions in the way that you protect your body. Right? I mean, it's just, you got to be able to do that. All right, here's an interesting name, and I was glad to hear that Brian Kelly was speaking on Braden Swinson, because I thought Swinson last week was one of the high marks, really. I thought that he was a bright spot last week, and if I had any complaint on Swinson, it would be that he just didn't play enough. I thought that they got away from him way too much in the production that he was putting out. So here is Kelly talking about the Oregon transfer, Braden Swinson, and what to expect from him coming up.
I think it was what we were hoping for. He brought a lot of energy. I really liked his, there wasn't across the board, and this has been written about and talked about, I wasn't pleased with the energy, and that falls on me. But he brought a lot of energy. It's nice to see that, and certainly, his ability to rush the passer. So we hope to continue to build on that.
That was really kind of what I saw too during the game. That was one of the disappointing parts of kind of the recognition in game of Braden Swinson, was he was one of the only guys that was giving you some pop, some juice, some energy, where you thought, man, you got to feed off that stuff. You can't take that thing away. You can't take it out of the game. And I thought that Swinson really, was, like I said, I thought he was a bright spot. I thought he was somebody that you looked at and thought, man, he's really giving you everything he's got, and he's making plays. I mean, he was a playmaker out there for LSU. Remember to hit that like button for us if you don't mind. We're trying to get 100 likes an hour, and we're not trending well right now. So help us out if you're inside of the chat, if you're watching right now, even if you're going back and you're watching and it's not live, you can still give us a like if you don't mind. We appreciate that very much. If you're not subscribed, make sure and give us a subscription. You can hit the bell and you'll know when we go live. And remember, daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at Go Roof, GEAUX Roof.com. GEAUX Roof.com is where you can find them online. Go Roof, a beautiful roof every single time. You can get that 2-year free workmanship guarantee when you get in touch with Go Roof. The phone number is easy, 225-927-8300. 225-927-8300 and online at GEAUXroof.com. Residential roofing, commercial roofing repairs, they do it all over at Go Roof. You get a free quote, free and quick roof inspection. They got over 15 years of experience, and they have been firmly established down here in Louisiana, providing competitive prices and providing great workmanship, great professionalism. And it's a great experience. Look, man, yesterday down here in South Louisiana, out of nowhere,
The weather, right?
what was that? I mean,
I
like,
don't know. It was like I thought it was supposed to be like a tornado.
Like at points around the like there's like debris all over the place. I'm like, what is going on with all of this wind? I mean, it was like whipping. I mean, treetops kind of bending. So if you've got damage, if you've got down tree limbs, if you had anything hit the roof, get in touch with our friends over at Go Roof today. Crazy weather down here over the last couple of weeks, man. If you've got roof damage, hail, wind, get in touch with Go Roof. GEAUXroof.com, 225-927-8300. All right, back to Brian Kelly. Here he is talking about Logan Diggs. Diggs is a guy that's been a little curious, right? I mean, it's at times I heard he was going to be the starting running back for LSU. He was going to be the guy. Then at times you go out to practice and like he'll be in the middle of a drill. I know Stewie has seen this. I've seen it as well, where like he'll just kind of be popping through the drill and he'll just unbuckle his chin strap and he'll just start walking back into the locker room. I mean, I saw it one time where the assistant to Frank Wilson, you usually got like two coaches, per group. And Frank's kind of assistant to him, was kind of like, yo, where you going? And I mean, he's like pointed at his hamstring and he just kind of walked inside. And if you listen to the sound bites that Brian Kelly speaks on Logan Diggs, it sounds like they just need him to commit. Like they like what they see, but then he'll be out of practice. And he won't be involved. And, look, there's a standard that you got to practice to play. And I think there's just been some, kind of waiting on Logan Diggs to say, all right, I'm in. I'm ready to commit to this and be at practice every day and fight through some of the things that may be setting him back. Here is Kelly talking about the transfer out of Notre Dame and the New Orleans native.
See from him in those reps?
Logan Diggs has been getting quite a bit of work. He feels healthy, and I think a lot of the hesitation was that he wasn't full speed, and to put him in a game against a top 5 opponent or top 10 opponent in Florida State, Frank just didn't feel comfortable in doing so. And I think the other part of the question was, yeah. Look, I mean, he's had a great week of practice, but I think, the reality of the situation is, average number of plays defended are in the mid-60s. It'd be great if we can get him in the, 30-play range in his first game and up that to, 40, 45 to where he can play a full game and maybe his third game. He'll tell you otherwise. He'll tell you that he can play every play, but fatigue definitely set.
So it's hard to read between the lines on that with Diggs, right? Like, I mean, it seems like like I said, at times it seems like he has been who they want to be the feature back. And then you kind of hear like, well, it doesn't feel like he's comfortable going out there. And it's like, well, is he really hurt, or is it just things that are kind of holding him back? I don't know. Maybe we see him this weekend. I'm just trying to kind of read between the lines there on what Kelly's talking about. Here is Kelly talking about the difference in scheduling and what his opinion is on what he would like to see.
My philosophy has been that I want to play as many SEC schools as we can play within the conference setup that everybody else plays, right? Obviously, I don't want to play more SEC schools if somebody else is not playing them. So, if I had a choice between 8 and 9, I wanted to play 9. And then, your schedule should reflect the balance necessary to play a 9-game SEC schedule. You don't want to go out then play, the rest of the schedule murderer's row. So you then look to, can you play teams in the state of Louisiana? I think that should be your vision, right? Are there schools that you can play? And of course, the last 2 years, 2 HBCU schools makes awesome sense in terms of being able to do that with Southern and Grambling. So continue to look at that as an option. And I know Verge Osbury does the scheduling for us, and I think he looks in that respect as well.
Translation? I don't think you're going to see many of these games down the road in the future as the new schedule will be formatted. And we'll know more about the new schedule after next season when Texas and Oklahoma are added to the league. And then what's the criteria for the 12-team playoff? I think there'll be a much more stable conversation and stable outcome. A lot of it right now from the scheduling standpoint is just kind of up in the air when you ask people around it. The difference between Emory Jones and Lance Hurd, this is a good question because I think in comparison's sake, when you think about Lance Hurd, you do look at Emory Jones and just the skill set. Will Campbell is just kind of a left tackle, right? And I think maybe in comparison's sake, Lance Hurd's probably more comparable to Campbell than he is to Jones. Jones is the most versatile offensive lineman on and in the group. He's the guy that can play multiple positions, either here in college or even at the next level in the NFL. I think Brian Kelly describes a little bit about that in the soundbite. But when you look at Campbell, when you look at Hurd, and this is something that I think LSU has really not had. Maybe, since a guy like Lyle Collins. I mean, even Ethan Posick came in as the number one, left tackle in the country, and he ultimately ended up playing center at LSU. I mean, just out of desperation. This was the first time, and I think Hurd and Campbell, that you're able to, recruit a true tackle and put him at tackle. Even Lyle Collins cut his teeth at guard. I mean, on that 2011 team or the 2012 team, Collins was the guard on that squad. Then he ended up becoming a 3-year starter at left tackle, but it took him a bit to get outside. Hurd and Campbell are true island players on the offensive line. I mean, you can put them by themselves against freaky defensive ends and, ask them to hold their own for 3 hours. Jones can do that too, but you can also put him down inside and he can pull, get out in front, athletic, and, just big, strong, and fast. Here is Kelly talking about the difference between Lance Hurd and Emory Jones.
They're a little bit different in the sense that, Emory is a much more suited to probably play multiple positions when he moves on. A guy that could play center, guard. He could probably get you out of trouble playing tackle at the next level. Lance is a tackle with his length. So they're a little bit different, but I would say that they're very similar in terms of their demeanor, the way they approach things on a day-to-day basis. They're great workers. They're great in the classroom. They take their work very seriously. And so I think that there's a lot of traits that are similar that allow freshmen to compete for starting positions. And he's got that kind of makeup. But I think in terms of the physical traits that they bring, there is a little bit of a difference between the two.
Looking forward to seeing what Lance Hurd looks like on this offensive line and what it does to the group. I think, you add a guy like Hurd into the mix, and, I mean, man, that whole unit now becomes a tick more athletic, more, strong, physical. It's just I'm looking forward to seeing what this group looks like with Hurd a part of it, and even kicking Emory Jones down, what that allows you to do from maybe some stuff in the run game, some things that you can do on the outside by pulling him and getting him out in front, maybe some things in the screen game.
Getting him to the second level is essential.
Oh.
Emory Jones on the second level with a linebacker or a safety is church. Like, he might take him back to Catholic High.
Well, I mean, if you think of one of the ultimate highlights of Emory Jones, ones that'll flash on draft day, has to be one a year ago this weekend when he just put the Southern linebacker or defensive lineman on. Remember,
skates.
He drove him 14, 15 yards down the field and put him into the end zone, to the sideline.
My introduction to Emory Jones was pretty good. I covered Woodlawn, and they played Catholic for the district championship, and he took a Woodlawn defender from the 20-yard line to the fence. You know, the fence at Memorial Stadium.
Golly.
He took him from the 20 to the fence. They had to call a flag, but I mean, that's what you want from your offensive lineman.
Oh, he was a mauler in high school. I mean, he would break kids' will. I saw him play Jesuit in a state championship game at Ullman Stadium, and Jesuit they were good that night. I mean, like, they were big, strong, and physical. This poor defensive end that just lined up over Emory Jones for 2.5, 3 hours. I mean, there was just nothing he could do about it. It was a torture chamber. I mean, like, it was like there's nowhere else to go, man. For the next 3 hours, you got to stand over this guy and just
take it,
try and fight him. I mean, and he was just doing that type of stuff, driving him 15, 10 yards down the field and then just landing on him. You know, it was
body blows.
It was brutal. It was brutal. And now to see him potentially at the guard spot with a guy like Hurd next to him, I think, you think about what happened to that right side of the offensive line last week. I mean, they were moved a little bit. That's probably one of the top units that they faced all season in Florida State. But still, I mean, you would have liked to have seen a little bit better of a showing. Here is more from Kelly here heading into week 2. After week 1, obviously not the outcome that you were looking for, but here's Kelly talking about what the week of preparation has been like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've reached a level of preparation that I'm much more comfortable with this week. The intensity level is what I was looking for, and we seem to have reached the level that I'm much more comfortable with. I've got to take full responsibility for not getting it there, and I feel good about where we are and where we need to continue to go. Because then you've got to go and take that from your preparation to performance. And so the next challenge will be finishing up here Friday, our walkthrough on Saturday, and then playing Saturday night and performing with an intensity and an emotional control that gives you that competitive edge that we lacked. And that's what we're looking for from this team. They know. I don't know what our guy said the other day. I hadn't talked to Mike about it, but I'm sure they probably talked in a similar vein because they've heard the same message. We've got to play with a competitive edge that we lacked, and I didn't do a good enough job of creating that. I've seen it this week from our guys.
More from Brian Kelly, and this is an interesting soundbite here coming up. This is about Jaden Daniels throwing the ball down the field, and I think this is something that we were all looking for going into the season. You didn't see it as much as you would have liked to in week 1. Kelly gives the stats and the numbers on explosive plays, and it's got to be a lot more than this. But here is Brian Kelly speaking about expectations of big plays for LSU.
I think when we look at big plays, I think we had about 11 big plays in the passing game, and, they're 20 yards plus. That's going to get it done for you. So, we had a drop there. Certainly I'm sure there's some plays that we would have liked to see him, connect on. I think at the end of the day, we're calling the plays necessary for us to be explosive offensively. We have to execute at a higher level, both at quarterback, wide receiver, and from a protection standpoint.
I think translation there is you got to let it go. I mean, when he's saying that LSU's calling the plays to have explosive plays, you just have to execute. I think you're saying everything from blocking and catching and throwing, but, at some point you have to take the shots as well. This is the last bite here, Stewie. This is Kelly speaking about playing freshman DB Javion Taviano who had a really good spring and had a solid summer from all accounts. And here he is talking about the freshman's input.
We like Javion. We're trying to bring him along at the nickel position. And I think it's a process, that we're involved in and trying to figure out. These are the tough decisions that you're trying to make. Is he somebody that can play more than 4 games at a high level for you and contribute where you don't redshirt him? Or is it he's going to get right to that threshold and maybe a couple of special teams performances? So we're not going to do anything until he's ready, and he's not quite ready yet, but we really like his upside. And when he's ready, we're going to play him. If there's, obviously 4 games less than the season, we're in good shape. The question will be if it's, like right now, we don't want to put him out there until he's absolutely ready to play. Good. Thank you.
What'd you make of that Taviano bike?
I really don't know what to take from it.
Sounds like he's not ready to play.
It sounds like he's not ready to play, but then it's like he wants to play him, but then he doesn't want to play him because he feels like he's not ready to play.
I think that what he's trying to say is that they love him, and I think that Taviano's probably putting a little pressure on him to saying hey, I didn't come here to sit the bench, and it's like, we want you to play, and I just don't know if it's time just yet to play. I don't know. I think you see him this weekend. Mm-hmm. I think you see a lot of new faces this weekend. All right, we got greatness in the room. Eddie K, throw your 2s up. Number 2, Eddie Kennison is in the room. Eddie and I are going to introduce you to a project that we have been working on for a while. We're now in partnership with the LSU Alumni Association. Joe Carvalito, Lauren Giffen, and the crew have really accepted this. They have taken this idea and they've helped us bring it to life. We're going to tell you about Football Fridays coming up. We're going to start it with the Arkansas game 2 weeks from today, which is going to be September 22nd over at the Lod Cook Alumni Center. And we're going to talk with Eddie here next and tell you how you can get involved, how you can buy a table, how you can come in there. But we're going to have former LSU football legends in that room. We're going to have good storytelling in that room. We're going to have some highlights and videos in that room. We're going to talk all about it next here with Eddie Kennison coming up on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Katie's Restaurant, located down in New Orleans, Louisiana on Iberville Street, right in the heart of Mid-City. And here's what we've been talking about with Katie's. They have embraced football season for Sundays. They've got a new Sunday schedule. They installed 6 new televisions, and they're doing it from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Sundays. Still same great menu, brunch specials. They got cold beer they're serving up, but they are embracing the football crowd. If you're going to the Dome at noon on Sunday and you need a place to pregame, you can do it over at Katie's. If you need a place to postgame after the Saints and Titans, you can head back over to Katie's if you want, or you're not going to the Dome and you just need a spot to watch it and you want good food, good service, good people, New Orleanians, the whole vibe. You can do all of that at Katie's. Katie's in Mid-City. They're online, katie'sinmidcity.com, and they are located on Iberville Street. Remember the sister restaurant, Francesca's, which is located up in Lakeview. Scott, Craig, and the crew have been great to us. They've got a fantastic restaurant. They've been around since 1984. Go see them. And we will talk to Eddie Kennison next about Football Fridays in conjunction with the LSU Alumni Association. And we will do that next here and get Eddie's thoughts on what happens this weekend with LSU. Come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show, built by R&B. If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about 1 buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge. Is it time to wash your house or business? Call the pros at Hydro Wash today. Get them out with their low-pressure, soft-washing cleaning approach. From commercial buildings, rooftops, and residentials, Hydro Wash is ready to get your place shining. Find them on Facebook or call Curtis at 225-933-7068. Take it from me, Hydro Wash came by and made my house look like new. What was best was the professionalism. They picked up everything, made the clean, and then put everything back to where it belonged. Get in touch with Curtis today. Call him at 225-933-7068 or find Hydro Wash on Facebook.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every single time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Roof, roof, Go Roof. Belmont Stakes Race Trainer.
I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Kentucky Derby training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live here on this Friday morning, brought to you by RMB Builders and our friends over at RMB. You can find them online at rmb-builders.com. You see this flyer here about our Football Fridays in conjunction and in partnership with our friends over at the LSU Alumni Association. Eddie Kennison and I were talking about some ideas about what some things we could do during football season. Eddie's going to launch a podcast that we're really excited about somewhere here in the near future. That's where the conversation started. It turned into some of the things that we could do around football season. Eddie, of course, who works for LSU Sports Properties now, is always on campus. You'll see him around this Saturday. If you are around my age, you remember the legend. If you're going to be with your kids, introduce him to the legend and get a couple of pictures snapped with him. But on Football Fridays, you'll have a chance to come out and listen to Eddie. I'll be the MC, and we'll have former historic legends of LSU football in the room every week. I mean, the list is awesome. We've been going down the list a couple of past weeks, and shout out to Lauren Giffen and her crew over at the LSU Alumni Association. They've done great work. But Eddie's in studio with us this morning, and it is great to see the legend here on this Friday. Ed, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Jordy, good morning. And let me say this, brother. Me personally, and I'm sure the legends, we could not have asked for a better MC in the Baton Rouge area, brother. So we thank you for agreeing to be a part of what we believe will be great events happening this year, but also for years to come. This is going to be pretty sweet.
Excited to be a part about it, a part of it, man. You know, you and I have talked about this, and we're kind of excited to see what it kind of mushroomed into. And like we said, the first opportunity, we're going to do it for all the home games, or for some selected home games. And it'll start 2 weeks from today. It'll be inside of the Lod Cook Alumni Center. And you'll come in, you'll have opportunities to buy tables if you're a company, or if you'll have an opportunity to buy tickets as well. And we're just going to be storytelling. It won't be as much as like previewing the game. A lot of that stuff will be, already done. We'll just have a good group of former LSU players in the room. Obviously, Eddie will be there every week, so he'll have the connection with these guys. And just kind of get them into a mode of storytelling about playing during their days, or coming back around, or what it was like being recruited during their time. Just, things that you may not be able to get anywhere else. It'll have food. We'll have some highlights and some video packages, and we'll have, I believe we're going to have some former members of like the band there to play some kind of get you ready for the weekend. So to get involved, you can email Lauren Giffen at lauren@lsualumni.org. It's lauren@lsualumni.org if you want more information. All right, Ed, not the outcome everybody was looking for last weekend. You've competed at this level and at the highest level in football. What happens on a week where you got to flush that thing and just move on, right? I mean, what do you take away from last Sunday, and then what do you make of the quick turnaround for LSU coming up this Saturday?
Well, Jordy, you guys, all of us, you guys and your fan base have heard of the 24-hour rule. You have an opportunity to soak it in after a loss. You get back in potentially the next day. I'm not sure what their schedule has been, but you get in, you correct the mistakes on film. You see what you did not so good. You see what you did good. You correct those on tape, and maybe you have like a little walkthrough or something to do some corrections from that game. And then you move on. It's time to put it to bed, because you can't sit there. You have a short week, and this week Grambling is coming in, and you start putting a game plan in for Grambling, and you get yourself ready. And as a coach and as an athlete, if you dwell in the past, brother, you will stay there, and it will cost you dearly if you stay there. So the 24-hour rule, turn that thing around. Let's get moving on.
What'd you make of the receiver play last week?
Tough play. Tough play. Our guys had a tough game, and not sure why. And I looked at it in the sense of, last year we go into New Orleans, we play Florida State in the Dome, and we lose that game, but we showed a lot of progress last year. And then moving into the rest of the year, we go on and we win a bowl game. So the first game doesn't scare me because of what happened last year. They learned from what happened last year. So now moving into this year, are they able to put that aside, get back to work this week, work on, instead of catching, 25 balls off the jug machine as a receiver, you catch 125 balls off the jug machine. So you start to train your body, you start to train your hands again, and just stay up on those things to continue making yourself better.
So you're at LSU Sports Properties now.
Yes.
You're on campus a lot.
Yes.
What's the relationship? I always thought it was fantastic for when you were around the football program every day, the relationship that you built with the players. You could sense the respect that went both ways. And then for you, it's different. Like Kevin Falk was very similar. You guys are on campus and accessible to these guys that not only were you guys part of the program, like you were the dude, you were the alphas, so you can always kind of go talk to these players. Like, what's the relationship now like with? Are you still able to keep that up?
With a few of the guys who were on the team when we were in the building. Now, if I don't go over to the football facility, But when I see those guys on campus, or they may text me or call me, or they will come by my office because now I'm in the administration building, and they'll come by and we'll just talk that life that we did when we were in the building. Don't know every guy that's there. Don't spend a lot of time there. But the few guys, they still text me. We still have guys that are in the National Football League that will text me and talk about life and talk about family. So as much as I can, they know I'm always there. And even for the guys that I haven't met or spent a lot of time with, I truly believe that when I do get that time to spend with them outside of the locker room or the building, that hopefully God will put something in me to be able to share with them to help them continue to move on.
Could you imagine playing in today's age? I mean, you were under a microscope in Baton Rouge. I remember that. I mean, you when you were here, the team and the program wasn't as successful as it is now. But you were the guy. Like if LSU got criticized, you would criticize Eddie Kennison.
Right.
But you didn't have social media. Could you imagine doing that now? I mean, do you feel the stresses that they have of that?
I don't know if I so much feel the stress, because obviously it's different. They do have social media. The only thing we had were pagers.
Right.
That was our social media. Payphones and social media, brother. So I think there's a lot of other things, factors. I'm not going to call them distractions, because these are things that the kids, that the world, that everything has built to have our athletes be seen and be known and get recognized immediately. So the game has evolved in a lot of ways, and they're just extra things that adds to the plate for the guys. And as a coach or as a mentor, as anyone who's older, it's for us to figure out, to help them navigate how to reach their ultimate goal. And we want these things. These things are what's happening, and we cannot say that, oh, I did it my way in 1996. Well, that's the old way. Guys before me in 1950, they paved the way for me to be able to have what I had at the time I had. So it's up to me to adjust to what's happening to help these guys navigate for them to ultimately be successful in what they want to do.
Former Chief, Kansas City Chief, played a long time up in Arrowhead. How surprised were you that last night they fall?
Man,
receiver play really kind of cost them.
Again, receiver play. We didn't play well last night, and again, it's one of those deals where you say, yes, I want to win, but I understand that them being pros with Andy Reid and with Pat Mahomes, and Travis Kelce didn't play last night, but that's not an excuse for the way our receivers played. They're going to go back today. They're going to look at the film, see the things that didn't work so well, and correct those things. They're going to have a walkthrough, and I promise you that those guys, the 25 balls that they caught this past week on the jugs machine, they will go and catch 125 balls on the jugs machine every day this week.
I'm fired up for Football Fridays, man.
Yeah, brother.
What are you expecting of this? Because a lot of it is your contacts of old players that we're putting together the list of bringing them back in, and I think that we've got a pretty cool vision of what we're going to lay out and roll out on Fridays.
Well, Jordy, I tell you, when you and I were talking about it, the one thing that sparked in me is exactly what you just said, bringing those guys back and having conversations and talks about life, about recruiting, about the times when we were in the locker room. Now, you guys won't hear everything that happened in the locker room. There's just some things that need to stay. But, there's stories that need to be brought out, and they're ex-players who haven't had the opportunity to have their voice or their stories heard on radio or on television, and just let those guys be guys and bring them back together. There are three aspects of this game that I truly, truly miss, Jordy. And the very first thing in this order, is the camaraderie with the guys in the locker room. There's nothing greater than that. That's our true fraternity. I think that's probably one of the longest standing fraternities, that we have, are guys in the locker room. It doesn't matter what sport. And the second thing I missed about it is playing with these guys on Saturday or Sunday. Those things are fantastic. And the third thing is, in the National Football League, are the paychecks. Those are Monday. But first, being in the locker room, because it was always fantastic. 2, playing on the weekends with those guys. And that's kind of what these Football Fridays are about. Put them in the room. Let's tell some stories. Let's have a good time, have some music and some old highlights, man. and just blow it out of the water, have some fun.
Tough to find a prettier sight than the deuce in the open field, Eddie Kennison, when he got out and running. You knew it was 6. You could change the scoreboard. We'll be telling those stories and more, a part of Football Fridays. That'll be at Lod Cook, so it'll be Football Fridays at the Cook. If you want to get involved, and we've got tables, we've got general admission tickets, we've got limited VIP table and packages and sponsorships, all available that you can get in touch with Lauren Giffen, who has been really doing an incredible job of really putting together the logistics of this behind the scenes. Contact her directly, Lauren at LSUalumni.org. Lauren at LSUalumni.org. Great to see you, legend.
Hey, brother. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you as well.
Yes, sir. There he is. Eddie Kennison wrapping up hour 1. When we come back, we'll be into hour 2 here. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by RMB Builders. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by Hebert's Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, Hebert's Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. Hebert's can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. Hebert's Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Is it time to wash your house or business? Call the pros at Hydro Wash today. Get them out with their low-pressure, soft-washing cleaning approach. From commercial buildings, rooftops, and residentials, Hydro Wash is ready to get your place shining. Find them on Facebook or call Curtis at 225-933-7068. Take it from me, Hydro Wash came by and made my house look like new. What was best was the professionalism. They picked up everything, made the clean, and then put everything back to where it belonged. Get in touch with Curtis today. Call him at 225-933-7068 or find Hydro Wash on Facebook.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, roof up?
Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver.
Favorite pregame meal?
Popeyes.
What would winning a national championship mean to you?
It would mean a lot to me because, we seen a lot of the greats come through here, won their national championship, got, remembered for life.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably fly. That or telekinesis.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Do it wrong, do it long, do it right, do it light.
Kyle Lacey, wide receiver, number 2.
Do you have any nicknames?
K2.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Stay humble.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Fly. I be flying in my dreams.
What's been the highlight of your partnership with us?
The bike giveaway was one of the best things. I was pretty excited about that one. Texas A&M, I just got a point to prove because last year I dropped 2 balls I should have caught. I'm coming for them for real.
That's it. Thank you, man.
My name is Harold Perkins, and I play linebacker.
What's your favorite pregame meal or snack?
Pasta with a little steak, something that's not too heavy.
Any superstitions or pregame rituals?
I pray a lot. Just be me and God before the game. Perky worky. I like when they call me the percolator. I like that.
If anyone gets in a wreck, who should they call?
Gordon.
Where were you born at, Greg?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But I claim 504 food because I was raised there my whole life. Favorite type of food is spaghetti. But you need to try spaghetti with some corn on the side. Funniest person, I'd probably get Kyle Lacey. He be having joked out every time I talk to him.
Who's the most athletic?
Besides myself, Perk or Malik. Future self, just take one day at a time, one step at a time. If you're doing something, just be where your feet are. Make sure you give 100% effort.
What is something on your bucket list?
Win a Super Bowl. That's definitely on my bucket list.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Time traveling.
Who's the fastest on the team?
Like in a short span, I would say quick trigger, I'm taking Perk. One thing most people don't know about me, probably that I moved 12 times growing up, 12 different states.
Who's the most savage on the team?
Mason Smith. Mason Smith, definitely.
And who gets it done?
Gordon.
Thank you, man. That's great.
Back here, Jordy Culotta Show. As always, we are built by RMB Builders, live on this Friday. Make sure and hit that like, share, comment button if you don't mind. If you're not subscribed to the show, make sure and hit the subscription and the new bell and that bell so you know when we have new content that comes out each and every day. Welcome aboard a new sponsor, our friends over at Tiger Air. If you remember, we've talked a lot about Tiger Air in the past. Tiger Air has really kind of changed the game with helmets, sports around. They're doing stuff around baseball and football helmets. They're the ones that put the air condition into the football helmets. They've come out with a new product that's really cool, man. It is the Zephyr here, the Zephyr Standard, which you can clip on to your hat, and you can click this little button here. Stewie, can you zoom in on me if you don't mind, real quick? But you can click this little button on the Zephyr that you can click on your hat, and it kind of turns into an air condition for your head. And it has you see this little, you see the Tiger Air logo, you see the button that you press. When you press that button, little AC kicks on, and you're able to put this thing on your hat right here on the 888, and bro, just cool it off the head. Right? They do this in camouflage. They do this in black and white and standard. But this is the newest product of Tiger Air. Great for the ballpark.
You hear the little AC going.
It's incredible. I mean, it is kind of like. Can you hear it, Stewie?
Mm-hmm.
But you can find out more at tigerair.com. Tigerair.com is where you find them. And that's TIGERAIRE. Is where you find them. There's a couple of levels to it. But it's a cool product, man, and we're going to be telling you about it all throughout football season. The camo one comes with a like a headlamp on it as well. So if you're an outdoorsman and you enjoy and you need not only a little bit of cooling for your stand or wherever you're hunting, you need a little bit of light as well. We'll be telling you all about that. They've got one for hard hats. They've got one for baseball hats. They were meeting with a couple of LSU baseball players about potentially some NIL deals on some equipment. But check it out at tigerair.com, and their latest Zephyr model here that you can take out for the tailgate. You can take it out to the ballpark. I mean, I've seen people like with these fans around their neck.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, what are you doing, man? I mean, just log on to tigerair.com, and pick up your Zephyr Standard, and you got it taken care of. You can learn more about it online at tigerair.com. All right, we're going to talk to Jake Crain coming up here at 8:15 this morning. As Crain, we will get a preview of the college football weekend. Obviously, everybody peeking at the Texas Alabama game this weekend. How are we feeling about this one, Stewie? Going in, is stage too big for Sark in Texas?
I mean, he has the horses for sure.
He does. Got a lot of Alabama's roster.
Got the horses. It's in Tuscaloosa?
It's in Tuscaloosa.
I got
on campus.
I gotta go Bama.
I love a big game on campus, man.
I gotta go Bama.
Really?
Just because like last year, Alabama went into Texas, and that was hostile. They come out on top, which they did lose Bryce Young and Will Anderson. But Will Anderson kind of went away in that game. So
that was probably Will Anderson's most.
That was his worst game probably
ever
at Alabama.
I mean, he had like 2 personal fouls.
He was struggling.
He was in a spot that day, man.
Bryce Young with magic at the end.
That's on the flip side. That may be Bryce Young's best game he played at Bama. I think if there was a moment where he solidified the number 1 overall pick,
that was it.
That might have been the day. Where he did it. You know, I mean, I look at Texas and I wonder if they're ready for this challenge, if they're ready for this chance. This is the win that Sarkisian needs for him to secure his job, really and truly. This could buy him 2 years. And this is something I want to talk to Jake Crain about, who is a Friday regular here on the Jordy Culotta Show that you can catch every Fridays at 8:15 in the morning. Of course, he's the host of Crain and Company. They do great work. They're on YouTube. They're all over social media. It's easy to find them. And as we said, every Friday they're here. They're here with us, and that conversation with us is brought to you by our friends over at Ochsner. Remember, over at Ochsner, Ochsner Sports Medicine and Andrews Institute can help you. They're online, ochsner.org/sports medicine. Tonight with high school football games, tomorrow morning over at the Grove Complex from 8 a.m. until 10:30. They have professionals waiting to see you. So if you get injured, if you have an injury, if you got a question, get over to the Grove Complex and check them out over at Ochsner. All right, Jake Crain from Crain and Company. Of course, every week here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Jake, we were talking about – good morning, my man. We were talking about –
Good morning, man.
We were talking about Bama and Texas obviously being the headline. We'll get to A&M and Miami and the other games of the weekend. But bring me to Tuscaloosa. How do you like the setup of this one? Is Sarkisian and the Longhorns ready for this moment?
Man, I think they're as ready as they have been. I mean, you look at the personnel up front. I like their offensive line. I think their front seven's as physical and as nasty as they've been in a while. Look, Bama's the safe bet this weekend. I don't think that's, any stretch of the imagination or outside of the box thinking. I picked Texas to win this game during the offseason. I'm going to stick with it. You look at what they returned, 5 of their top 6 pass catchers. They added A.D. Mitchell from Georgia, a guy that's proven it in big moments. He's not going to be afraid to go into Bryant-Denny and try and make a play. You look at what they have at tight end. I think their tight end room, not only do they got a good starter, they're pretty deep. I think they're good blocking inline and running routes. And then defensively, I mentioned the front 7, but I do think Texas is a little more physical this year than they have been. It's just going to be tough. I mean, you get off the bus, you're down 7. but we still don't. There's still unknowns about Bama, right? People forget Quinn Ewers got hurt the first half of last year's game. One of the biggest questions is, can Texas quarterback actually make it through a whole game against Alabama? I know Bama had 15 penalties last year, but Jalen Milroe, we haven't seen him had to make that throw on 3rd and 8 where he's got to fit it over the linebacker and underneath the safety. He's not going to be able to just out-athlete everybody on Texas's defense. Not that he probably won't be the best athlete on the field, but he's not going to be able to drop the ball, pick it up, read half a Harry Potter book, and then run for 70 yards and a touchdown because he's playing against children. So, look, I picked Texas. I'm going to stick with them. It's going to be tough, but I got them 30-27.
What do they have to do to win? I mean, they got to battle the environment, but, like, on the field, what must Texas do to put themselves in a situation to win?
Well, you got to play clean, number one. Turnovers, we talk about, the 3 most important things in a football game: turnovers, time of possession, and field position. I don't think enough people are talking about special teams in this game either, and I'm not even talking about field goals. I'm talking about punt. This will be a game of field position. So if you're Texas, going in there playing clean, not trying to force it too much, Sark's going to have a good plan on offense. I know Nick and Kevin Steele have like 370 years of experience coaching together on the defensive side of the ball, but Sark's going to have a good plan at the end of the day. Keeping Quinn Ewers upright. When you get hurt in a game and you play that same team the next year, it's kind of in the back of your mind. I know Alabama has a bunch of Avengers running around on defense even after what they lost, but if Quinn's able to stay upright, he's able to get the ball out on time, I think he can do some damage to this Alabama defense, which does have a banged-up secondary. I know Malachi Moore and Jalen Key have both practiced, but if you're limited at all against the depth that Texas has on the outside, it could be a legitimate problem with guys like AD and Xavier Worthy running around.
What type of team is Miami as they host Texas A&M this weekend? This was not a good showing for Miami last weekend in last year in College Station. What do you expect from the Hurricanes as the Aggies travel to South Florida?
Well, look, I like A&M in this game, but I think this Miami team, this isn't a flashy, sexy offense. Hey, spit it out. Let's go 1,000 miles per hour. This is definitely a team that's more built in Mario Cristobal's identity and in his image. They ran for 250 against Miami, Ohio in the Confusion Bowl. I know that's not exactly the steel curtain defense, but they want to be a run to pass, take your shots through play action. Surprised they didn't get it more to the tight end, Will Mallory, last week. I think you're going to see it more this week. But when I look at A&M, man, going up against this Miami team, how many players that start on Miami's offense would actually start on Texas A&M's offense? Maybe Restrepo, maybe that left tackle that they have. I like the Parrish kid. He's a good player, but I think A&M has a lot better personnel on both sides of the ball. Van Dyke does look healthy, though. I'm glad for Tyler. He was beat up all last year. He kind of plodded along and just had to fight through it. He looked a lot cleaner. They're taking a step up in competition. I think my brother's right. He says on the show, Miami's a year away from being, having a chance to be able to go in and dominate games like this or be able to go in with an advantage. I like A&M, and I like A&M to cover in this game. I'm telling you guys, I was high on Connor Wegman during the offseason, even higher after what I saw week 1. I know New Mexico isn't the greatest team in the world, but they were top 25 in pace. The kid spins a really good deep ball, and he's got enough wiggle to extend the play inside the pocket and outside the pocket. So give me the Aggies this week, maybe big.
Jake, they're throwing a huge party down in New Orleans with Ole Miss in town this weekend. Ullman Stadium is going to be on springs. There's parties all weekend down in the Big Easy. They're starting tonight partying. What do you feel on Ole Miss traveling into Tulane this weekend?
Well, you better enjoy Tulane better enjoy the parties while they have one, because I don't think they're going to be throwing one after Saturday night, because you can't stop the run. And there's a common misconception that guys like Lane Kiffin and Lincoln Riley and Josh Heupel, they just want to throw the ball around. Let's turn into the Globetrotters. No, Lane wants to run the ball. It truly is a run-to-pass offense. Ole Miss is a problem now. People don't realize, look, they see the name Mercer, and they're like, oh, Mercer, they're awful. What is that, a girls' school? No, Mercer's a top 20 team in FCS. I got a buddy that's a linebackers coach there. They're not the greatest team in the world, but you beat them 73-7, and it could have been worse. Ole Miss has some skill personnel that is really, really dangerous. If Jackson Dart can become better at seeing intermediate defenders in the pass game, Ole Miss is going to put up a lot of points. I like Pete Golding. I think he got a bad rap at Alabama. Is Ole Miss going to shut down great offensive teams? No. But Tulane losing Tajay. I know Michael Pratt was 14 out of 15 last week, but if Tulane can't stop the run, Ole Miss is going to score 50 points or more. I like Ole Miss in this game. Love Willie Fritz. He kicked my ass all the time when we were at South Alabama. But I like Lane Kiffin. I like Ole Miss this weekend.
Jake, all right, take me back to last Sunday night. What did you see from LSU? Or what didn't you see from LSU?
Man, what shocked me, Jordy, from a Brian Kelly coach team is that looked like early 2022 LSU. I mean, you reverted back to not pushing the ball down the field. I mean, you're sitting there. What I don't understand is you weren't able to run the ball effectively pretty much the whole night. I mean, Jaden Daniels on quarterback design run, and then when he would just take off when he recognized man coverage, that was your best run game. But I do think you have the personnel on the offensive line to play better. But I don't understand. You're running all these comebacks, and you're killing them on these comebacks. Malik Neighbors was absolutely destroying them on third down, but you don't run a double move until the last drive of the game, and you scored from like 70 yards out on it. It looked like Jaden was trying to protect the ball. They wouldn't push the ball down the field, which shocked me. I thought they were kind of out of that habit. And then probably the biggest worry I would have if I was an LSU fan is Florida State went into the locker room at halftime and made the conscious decision that they thought they could bully LSU. And they came out and they got under center and they bullied them. And instead of matching the physicality, LSU went and hid in the corner with a blanket over their eyes. That's what would worry me the most. And seeing LSU get punked like that physically, it's just weird. It's like watching your mom kiss another guy other than your dad. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it was weird, man. What did you make of Harold Perkins and how they used him?
Well, look, the lack of adjustments, too. I talked about the downfield passing game in the first half. Like, you think you would go in there at halftime and be like, guys, we have got to start pushing the ball down the field more. We have got to try and open up this run game by keeping those safeties back, keeping those linebackers' eyes occupied. But, look, I understand why Harold Perkins would spy. I get that. But halfway through the game, when Jordan Travis keeps extending the play and extends it and keeps his eyes downfield and he's beating you with his arm, then you got to just start shooting the bullet. You got to let Harold Perkins go get him. You can't just sit back and let Jordan Travis run around and find that giraffe Johnny Wilson or, the Avenger that was Keon Coleman that night or Jaheim Bell. At some point, just like on offense, you have to adjust. But you ended up spying him 28 times and bringing him 7. Look, the minute we got halfway through the second quarter, and he kept throwing that underneath route to Johnny Wilson, you just start sending them. I'll fight your Avenger with my Avenger, and please, for the love of God, LSU, stop running cover 3 against empty. Stop doing it. What are you doing? I'd rather you run 0 and bring the house.
Yeah, defensively, there were a lot of things that we were looking at, Jake, and you know a lot more football than I do, but even to the elementary eyes that were like, what are they doing? I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah, it was almost like they were so scared of Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson beating them deep that they spied with Harold Perkins and didn't cover the underneath. You don't have to be Newt Rockne or Nick Saban to realize that if you have a spy in coverage, you're going to lose a guy in coverage once the quarterback starts moving around, because I can't sit here and cover a guy and spy a guy at the same time. So your answer is to play umbrella coverage and use a spy. Well, you're gonna leave guys wide open underneath, and that's what kept happening. I'm just shocked that LSU, and offensively we talked about it, but defensively, at the end of the day, you know what? If you're going to sit here and extend the play, I am going to send flaming. You're going to feel like Leonidas at the end when Xerxes' army shot all those arrows at you. If you're going to throw it to beat me, you're going to throw it to beat me under pressure. But LSU sat back, let them get beat on slants, let them get beat on hitches, let them get beat on curls, and used a spy. I don't understand the methodology behind what LSU was doing.
What'd you make of Colorado?
Man, look, I think It's a great story. I think it's great for college football. It's an experiment. Not only the transfer portal, the amount of guys you brought in, but Travis Hunter, being the Shohei Ohtani of college football, playing 130 snaps a game. We'll see how long that lasts. But I don't think enough people talked about the staff that Deion brought in. Sean Lewis, who was the head coach at Kent State, who's Art Briles' disciple, had a fantastic game plan early in that game. He knew they were deficient on the offensive line. So what were they doing? They were getting the ball out quick. They got the ball out quick so much early, TCU stopped rushing the passer because they couldn't get there. So they started just rushing 3 and dropping 8. And halfway through the second quarter and on, Shadur Sanders had an average of 4.1 seconds to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. That's a long time. And that game went how Colorado wanted it to go. One of the few ways that they can win with the personnel they have up front is to turn it into a shootout, turn it into a track meet. And that's what it turned into. They didn't need to make a ton of stops. They just needed to make a couple. I do think it says a lot about TCU as well. I think Nebraska is going to play keep away. They're going to sit on the ball. You're going to get a lot of quarterback design runs with that new clock rule. They're going to try and keep Shedeur on the sideline. I actually like Nebraska in this game. But look, I think it's great for college football. I'm not the biggest Deion Sanders fan in the world, but I mean, you look at the momentum they have. They win this one. I mean, who the hell knows that the hype train's going to be crazy, and then USC and Oregon are going to score 100 on them.
Jake Crain, he is the host of Crain & Company. You can find him on Twitter at @JCrain_. He's here every Friday at 8:15, dropping knowledge on us like this morning. Have a great weekend. Whether it's a car or whether it's a studio, you pull off the lighting. Fantastic, bro.
Oh, yeah, dude. I parked in the perfect place today. We actually got an event going down at the Daily Wire. I couldn't be too loud, and I yell when I talk, obviously. But no, it's great to talk to you guys. Y'all do a hell of a job, Jordy. We got to get you on. Let's get you on here in a couple weeks, not after the Grambling game, because that's going to be basically an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Absolutely, bro. A little home and home down the line. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it, buddy. We appreciate you.
Later, dude. Jake Crain from Crain & Company. He's here every Friday. He's a great follow on Twitter, and he's a great listen as far as college football is concerned. Remember our friends over at Hughes Mechanical. Hughes Mechanical AC is where you can find them online, or you can find them at hughesmechanical.net here, as it is starting to feel a little like fall outside, Stewie. Hopefully the weather will
a little bit
will crisp up here. Remember, they're a true Daikin dealer over there at Hughes Mechanical, a trusted Daikin dealer with a great warranty. 225-658-2147, Hughes Mechanical Contractors, residential, commercial, HVAC services online here at hughesmechanical.net. hughesmechanical.net, 225-658-2147. Tell Travis Hughes and the crew that you got us, that you heard it right here on the show. Online, hughesmechanical.net. is where you can find him. Good stuff from Jake Crain. We have Tracktown coach Jimmy Burrow. What a day for the Burrows, as yesterday Joey became the highest paid football player in the history of the sport as he agreed to terms with the Cincinnati Bengals. Coach Burrow has always been fantastic to the show and is a great friend. He will stop by here at 8:30 this morning, 8:35-ish this morning, to get us caught up on what's next for Joe and kind of how you were able to structure this going into it's going to be a real construction time for the Cincinnati Bengals, right? I mean, like, Joe is just one piece of what I know Burrow was negotiating for a championship program. So we will see how you manage that and what Coach Burrow has to say as we'll talk to him coming up here at 8:35 this morning, as Coach will stop in. We were talking a little bit about Braden Swinson, and Swinson was a guy last week that, when watching LSU play, you were kind of curious on why is he not getting more snaps. And when you look at his week, he had 26 snaps. In 26 snaps, Braden Swinson had 5 tackles, 3 pressures, 2 quarterback hurries, 1 quarterback hit, a TFL. He was the highest graded run defender for LSU. This is according to PFF. He was the second highest graded defender on the team, and he was the third highest graded tackler on the squad. That was when we talked about a little bit of the criticism after last weekend. That was one of them, and just like recognizing the guys who were making plays and keeping them on the field. playing the guys that give you the best chance to win. And Swinson only playing 26 snaps, it just doesn't feel right, especially when you read his stat line. I mean, that guy was everywhere last Sunday. So hopefully those are some of the things that the defensive staff, I mean, look, you hear Jake Crain, that guy knows a lot of football. He's been on staffs. His dad was a coach and a player at Auburn. I mean, Crain comes from a line of football knowledge. I mean, that was a little bit more, 3,000, 4,000 level compared to what we talk about here. But I mean, him kind of giving you the nuts and bolts of when they're running a certain style of defense and just leaving a section of the field wide open and nobody recognizing and checking out or making an adjustment, it bears the question, like, what is going on? What were you looking at? What are you waiting on? I mean, put the people in the best chance to win. And hopefully that can start happening here soon, because I don't know, that's a recipe for that's a long year. that is a long year. So, thanks to Jake Crain. Appreciate, obviously, Eddie Kennison stopping by in hour number 1. Coming up here, we will talk to Jimmy Burrow on what is got to be just a great day. An unbelievable day for Coach Burrow. I mean, to think about this, and we will talk about this, and I try not to keep it sentimental every time, but I mean, just somebody that is a father, and my son obviously very young, and I don't expect him to become the highest paid football player ever, but just if he was something, accomplish something like this, still very young, too. I mean, what is Joey? 24? 26?
No, he's 26.
26.
Me and Joey are the same age.
What an unbelievable rise. I mean, coming out of 2018, there was questions on whether or not Joe Burrow was going to get drafted. Right? I mean, like, if I'm right about that, right? I mean, like, I don't want to dramatize the story, but I mean, like, if I recall correctly, like, Burrow was a guy that
he had to have a good year in 2019 to get drafted.
Like, there was no discussion on whether or not he was coming out after 18. And for no discussion to go to the number 1 pick, I mean, what a run. I mean, what a incredible and now he feels so certain and so much of a guarantee. Like, obviously you would have no issue making him the highest paid football player ever. But it just, even like back in 19, when you were watching him, he was such an incredible competitor in the sense that he always delivered. Like, it was something like I had never seen. Really, I mean, just unbelievable that the career that has turned in to Joe Burrow's. I mean, it really, for as magical and as consistent as it is now, and as bona fide and proven as it is, to be there at the start of it, or not the start, but be there kind of really when it launched and took off. It's still kind of surreal to think back and figure like you were just like sitting there watching that guy play maybe the best 15 college football games ever. It's unbelievable. I love talking to Coach Burrow. He's great perspective. Somebody that's experiencing all this success. Son is experiencing all this success. And I didn't know Jimmy Burrow before 2019, the summer of 2019. And he is as humble and is still that person to this day. And I expect that's what he was 30 years ago, right? I mean, Jamar Cain has great Jimmy Burrow stories. Jamar Cain was a graduate assistant for Coach Burrow at the University of Ohio. It was Jamar Cain's first coaching gig was with Jimmy Burrow. In fact, I believe Jamar and his wife used to babysit Joey back in the day. Like the Burrows would go out to dinner and Jamar Cain would stay with Joey and be breaking down film at the Burrows' house. and just some of the stories that he tells about Coach and Robin and just the whole deal during that time is it is amazing, man. It really is. I mean, it is such a cool story. All right, we're going to talk to Coach coming up here next, as we will have him talking about just the last 24 hours of Coach and Joe's life. We'll be back after this on the Jordy Culotta Show. We are live here on the campus of Click Here Digital. Click Here Digital is located on Interline Avenue, and over at Click Here Digital, they're online at clickheredigital.com. I am a contact for them. I work over at Click Here Digital and head up their business development. Love being a part of a great team. You can email me, Jordy, at clickheredigital.com. But full-service digital marketing agency. Handle all of your social media ads, all of your Google ads, display video, search engine optimization, whatever you're looking for from a digital format. Get in touch with us, and we can help you out. Jordy at clickheredigital.com. We'll be back with Coach Jimmy Burrow next. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us.
Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On the Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Is it time to wash your house or business? Call the pros at Hydro Wash today. Get them out with their low-pressure, soft-washing cleaning approach. From commercial buildings, rooftops, and residentials, Hydro Wash is ready to get your place shining. Find them on Facebook or call Curtis at 225-933-7068. Take it from me, Hydro Wash came by and made my house look like new. What was best was the professionalism. They picked up everything, made the clean, and then put everything back to where it belonged. Get in touch with Curtis today. Call him at 225-933-7068 or find Hydro Wash on Facebook.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
All right, looking forward to telling you about the Zephyr Pro from Tiger Air. How you can cool down your head here in the summer months. Hooking it on here to your ball cap or to your hard hat. We'll tell you all about it. You got camouflage. The football helmet air condition company, Tiger Air, has introduced a new product, the Zephyr Standard. We'll tell you all about it with Jack Kavich, their CEO, coming up here in about 15 minutes. Jimmy Burrow is a great friend of our show, has been awesome to us since meeting him in the summer of 2019. He was a regular on our radio show during the fall of 2019, where he would come on every Tuesday morning and recap last Saturday's game for LSU, and it was a magical moment in media for South Louisiana listeners. I still get people that come up to me and talk about listening to Coach Burrow break down Joe's play every week and just how cool it was, because it was perspective of not only dad, it was perspective of a coach, it was perspective of a guy who really just loved the game of football and was just watching his son become dominant in it at the time. And from the dominance of 2019, it grew into the number one pick in the draft, a player who has really gone home to the state of Ohio. He is from Athens, Ohio, and now is the franchise quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, of course, which is located in Ohio, and in 5 seasons has gone and been to a Super Bowl, AFC title game, and has taken some of the titans of the sport down to the wire and even climbed the mountain here very early on. And for all of that, Joe Burrow was rewarded yesterday by becoming the highest paid football player in the history of the sport. And just to say that out loud is pretty cool, man, for a football family and a football coach to have his son in that moment. Coach, good morning. Congratulations to you and the family. It is great to see you here on this Fall Friday.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great day for the Burrow family, the Bengals, and LSU, because really without LSU, this wouldn't have been possible. So thanks to LSU and to everyone involved here.
Coach, did he even contemplate going pro after 2018? Did he even talk about it, think about it? No.
He never did.
So from a junior season where he was not even on an NFL board, he wasn't even talked about, to the next season he becomes everything, the Heisman number one pick, to now. Can you take me what it's been like, or just tell me what it's been like for you? I mean, you understand the sport so much. To become the number one pick in that short time of period of time is very difficult to do. To be the number one pick and now to what it has become, what has your vantage point been of that?
Well, it's amazing. Certainly, dreams do come true, and this one came true. Joe would be the first to tell you that really it wouldn't have been possible without Coach O, without Coach Ensminger, without Coach Joe, and all his teammates at LSU. And then to have that 15-0 season and win all the awards and the accolades, then all of a sudden, here comes Joe as the number one pick, and it was awesome. Continues to be. We knew this contract was complex and it was going to take a while, but both sides, the Browns, Katie Blackburn, and the Bengals, did a great job, along with Brian Aralt, who is Joe's agent with WME, and couldn't be happier today. It's a relief on one hand, and
Sure.
and certainly a blessing that it's happened like it has.
How long does it take to negotiate something like this? When did the contract discussions start?
Oh, it really started in the spring, and we were told all along that to be patient, that the complexity of a contract extensions, especially for a high level quarterback, just takes time. And it was always, hey, don't be surprised if it goes right up until till the first game of the season. We were all hopeful that it would get done earlier, but as I said, we were still confident that it would get done before the first game, because there was never any time that either party said, "Hey, let's just back off. We're not gonna negotiate." It was ongoing for a long time.
How's his health? How does he feel?
He's good. He's trending toward playing, and with a soft tissue a muscle strain, that you kind of go day by day, but things were looking good after yesterday's practice, and he'll have a few more practices here, I guess, just today and a walk through tomorrow. But he's feeling good about being able to play on Sunday.
Coach, what has the last 48 hours been like for you and Miss Robin?
Well, we knew things were getting close, and so we were anxious, for this to get done. We got a lot of things going with, as you know, with the Dine for Nine on Saturday and the Joe Burrow Foundation. We have 15 restaurants tomorrow that we're going to stop in Cincinnati to be a part of that. I know it's been a great response in Baton Rouge and here in Athens. So combine that with the anxieties of our son on the verge of getting this big contract. It's been quite a 48 hours. So I tell people with Robin, she's she's no longer a principal. She resigned to be more involved in the foundation, and I think as soon as people knew that she was available, our time was even more so. We were busy all the time now, and there's no relief, but it's something that we feel again is a blessing to be involved in Joe's life as his mom and dad, and as a Bengal fan and a football fan.
I don't want to ask you to put on your legal hat or anything like that, but from an agent standpoint, I'd imagine that Joe negotiated this contract with one of the first priorities to be that he can stay competitive, that this team, this franchise can play for championships. Obviously, they got guys with big names in the league coming up to the table next, and guys that he counts on. How do you? And again, if I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize. But how do you put together a contract like this that's such a big number with the intent in mind to you got to keep everybody happy? Not everybody, but you got to keep the core group happy as well.
But certainly that's a big part of Joe's mindset. I mean, he's a big team player, as we found out at LSU, and he wants those guys to be rewarded also. And if there's a willingness on ownership side and Joe's side with his agent to get things done in a fashion that they can continue to sign players and be competitive, I'm sure that's all part of it. I'm not just beating around the bush. I don't know all the details, but I know Joe's happy and pleased with the way the contract, the outcome of it. So in that regards, I'm assuming he's happy that they can be competitive for a long time.
All right. Have you looked at the schedule? What weekend are you in Baton Rouge? What game you taking in? You making a trip?
Yep, we will. We have some foundation things going on for the Army game. I think Joe has a bye that weekend, so Robin and I will be there. William Day is on our advisory board, and of course Peter Wright is involved in the foundation there. So we're going to spend time with them and hopefully hang out with you guys some, and then see. We haven't been back to Tiger Stadium since the A&M game. So of Joe's senior year, that was quite a night, and but we're looking forward to it. Just got a lot of friends. It'll be a whirlwind of a few days, but we're excited about it.
Can't wait to see you. We were actually over at Walk-On's Corporate last night, and there were the foundation signs everywhere. I snapped a shot of it and sent it over to you.
I got that. I appreciate it. Being on your show was big. The response to Baton Rouge restaurants has been awesome. And Dine for $9 on Saturday. Go to the restaurants that are participants, and if you can't go out, go to joeburrow.org, and you can still donate $9.99, $999 or whatever. So 9 is a good number on Saturday.
Look, that's the man that produced the highest paid football player of all time. That is Coach Jimmy Burrow. What a cool statement. What a cool day for you and the family. Make sure and tell Miss Robin hello. Congratulations to everybody, Jamie, Danny, everybody over there, Coach. It's an awesome day for y'all, and everybody down here in South Louisiana and around LSU is celebrating with you. I was with a huge crew of LSU faithful last night, and as the news was coming across the wire, everybody was checking their phones. There was fist pumps and high fives, and everybody was celebrating. So it's great to see all of this, Coach.
Well, it's a big day for everyone involved here, and as I said, wouldn't be possible without Coach O and LSU and the LSU fans. So go Tigers and go Bengals. Let's get a couple of Tiger wins this weekend.
Hell yeah, Coach! Great to see you. Where can I get one of those hats? The hat is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, those are – you have to, I don't know, maybe Stringfellow or somebody.
That looks like a G-string special right there. Great to see you.
There's not a lot of them out there, so we'll see. It's a great number 9. We love still wearing LSU gear, and you see Mike the Tiger behind me. That's
right.
He can go Mike the LSU Tiger and or Mike the Bengal Tiger, so it can go either way there.
I don't know if you saw it, but about 2 weeks ago, I blew a gasket on the show about Joey B's not having his number retired or the statue outside. I got a call from somebody at LSU about 10 minutes after the show. It was like, would you calm down? There's bylaws in order that it has to be 5 years removed. He'll be retired on the 5th year. I was like, okay, my bad. Sorry about that.
Well, I haven't seen a number 9 out there, so
no, you won't.
I don't think we will.
You will not. You will not. Thank you, Coach.
That's good.
Congratulations.
All right, thanks for having me, and you guys have a great weekend.
Always. There he is, Coach Jimmy Burrow, checking in on a very memorable day for him and the family as Joey becomes the highest paid football player of all time, which is super cool. I told you we were with a crew last night, and when we heard the news, and it was cool to be around a bunch of LSU people, and I was with Jack Kavich, who is a friend and the president and CEO of Tiger Air. We've been telling you about Tiger Air and their new Zephyr product here that we have been talking about, and snapped it on the front of our bill here this morning, turned on the AC, kind of keeping the head cool. There's all types of products that they have to tell us about, or not products, but all types of models of the Zephyr, whether it can help you as an outdoorsman, if you're a hunter, if you're a hard hat, if you're wearing hard hats. I told you that they are evolving the football helmet into baseball helmets, and this is something that it doesn't matter if you're a mom, an uncle, a sister, a little brother, a dad at the ballpark. This can keep you cool. And we're going to tell you all about the products. We'll tell you a little bit about the football stuff. We'll tell you about this product and more, and our partnership, which we are super excited about over here at the Jordy Culotta Show with Tiger Air. We're going to do that with the CEO, Jack Kavich, next when we come back here. So make sure and hit that like, share, comment as we will close it out live here on this Friday, a little football Friday. We'll give you our prediction as well before we get out of here on some of the bigger games of the weekend in Texas and Alabama, Miami and Texas A&M. This weekend, and some of our thoughts of LSU and Grambling before we get out of here. So come back with us next year on the show, as always, built by R&B Builders. If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge. Is it time to wash your house or business? Call the pros at Hydro Wash today. Get them out with their low-pressure, soft-washing cleaning approach. From commercial buildings, rooftops, and residentials, Hydro Wash is ready to get your place shining. Find them on Facebook or call Curtis at 225-933-7068. Take it from me, Hydro Wash came by and made my house look like new. What was best was the professionalism. They picked up everything, made the clean, and then put everything back to where it belonged. Get in touch with Curtis today. Call him at 225-933-7068 or find Hydro Wash on Facebook.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on. Did you do it? Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
You can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no-obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every single time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Roof, roof, go roof.
Belmont Stakes Race Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, go roof.
Kentucky Derby Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, go roof.
All right, welcome back here, Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show as we trend towards the weekend here, football weekend, finally here. LSU will be at home, Tiger Stadium. Outside of Mike the Tiger's cage on Saturday, you'll have a chance to meet the people from Tiger Air, our friends over at Tiger Air. We are in partnership with them. We've been telling you about it here throughout the show today, about the newest Zephyr model that you just clip on to the front of your hat. You can get some airflow right there. To you down here in South Louisiana. Obviously, the summer months are brutal, whether you're outside cutting grass or whether you're sitting in the stands watching your kid play softball, baseball, or something outdoors, and you need just a little bit of something to cool off. Tiger Air has a great product for you called the Zephyr Standard that you can learn more about online at tigeraire.com, tigerair.com. Their president, Jack Kavich, is a great dude. Spent some time with him over the last couple of days, man, and now we're partnered up during football season with this. And we've talked before, Jack, but it's great to see you in studio this morning, man.
Thanks, Jordy.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
Great.
Obviously, this idea started around sports, and now the product is evolving into this Zephyr model. Tell me about the sports world first, kind of where we are. I know, like, it started around LSU, and I still don't see LSU wearing the helmets, but it seems like I feel like I've seen social media on it, right?
Yeah, that's right. We, we're still working with the LSU football team. That's where we did all of our testing and product development. They, they haven't used it yet in practice or in the games, but we're working with the staff. We got just obviously an amazing support system there with the university, and with the new folks that have come in through Brian Kelly's transition. There's a lot more socializing the project as a startup that was incubated at LSU and getting them familiar with what we're working on. And we just built incredible inroads. I mean, on the AD side with Verge and Kelly's in just incredible advocates for what we're working on, and getting to know Beth Rex and right hand of with Brian Kelly and Harris, head of football operations, and just so much support, understanding now what we're building. We're really excited about getting it in there. I think from a logistics operations standpoint, it's a lot for LSU to manage on a game. Sure. On a game day, it's a lot for them to manage with practices. LSU has a unique way of managing their helmets where they recondition them every week. So it's a big task for the equipment folks. Break them down, strip them, buff them, shine them, get them all ready again for the next week. So they come off the field from a game, they get used in practice, and then they go to reconditioning, and the previous weeks go into rotation for games. So it's a big operation that they have to run. So you got to think when they're doing that at scale, trying to roll this out where they're managing an add-on inside that helmet on top of everything, making sure they're charged. It's a tall order, but we've been fortunate. We're working with several other teams, and it's an early process for us with football. But working with Texas A&M, we've been working with Florida State. Actually, their O-line and D-line. Got it for the O-line and D-line back in May, and we've had Alabama testing and working with us from the beginning, and a bunch of other schools. But really, football for us was about kind of testing this thesis that we had of do people want airflow in a helmet? Whether it's an athletic helmet or an industrial helmet. And, where we've come to as a startup, out of the state of Louisiana, we have to de-risk this startup, and that's kind of the normal process of how a startup works. And where we've come to now is this resounding yes from the community, which is like airflow in helmets is awesome. Uh-huh. We want that. This is helping people. And now it's about kind of taking that next level step in creating more elegant and more sophisticated products beyond just the add-on. So we kind of see the Zephyr as maybe our last sort of add-on that we're going to develop or create, but it's an every man, every woman, every child product. I mean, anyone who wants to clip it on their apparel, clip it on their shirt, hang it on a lanyard where it's blowing up on your neck like some of the neck fans do. I mean, I was just flying in here. I was in Charlotte's airport, American Airlines. One of the young ladies working had a big old honking fan on a lanyard. And we were laughing. I was showing her, ours and how much smaller it is. And she's like, well, that'll feel a lot better on my neck than this one I'm carrying around right now. But, it's at more of a premium price point. I mean, we're trying to create, a higher end product. It's water resistant. It's a lot smaller. It's about 2.6 ounces. And it's more versatile. It can clip on. And then on top of that, we got that version. We got the Pro version here. The Pro version, we're going to have that coming out in a couple of weeks in black and white, and in safety orange, so for industrial or outdoor folks. And then we got a really badass camo version in Rhodesian Tiger, which is similar to a pattern Nike used. I saw one of those last night. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. I think in the outdoor space with the amount of light that it generates, and about 5 hours of LED headlamp runtime, coupled with the airflow, you're out there doing outdoor activities. I mean, it's a pretty awesome relief.
And the camo one, like I was telling the listeners, has like the heavy duty light.
It does, yeah. So it's we on paper we're clocking it at 250 lumens, but we had to go measure it, and it's well above that. So it's a strong headlamp to have it as an integrated sort of addition to the airflow. We're not talking a 1,000 lumen, 2,000 lumen lamp that you're you're shooting out 1,000 yards and in the woods, but this, it's the highest end LED that you can get. The chips are all natural light that it creates. And I mean, you go out there when it's dark and I'm telling you, it's lighting up the joint. So if you're working on, working at a site at night, or if you're a delivery driver at night, or you're fishing at, it's 3 a.m, 4 a.m, you're out there fishing. It's everything you need for lights right there on your hands and your feet where you're working and moving around.
So we're partnering up on social media. A lot of all of our social media posts will be tagged with Tiger Air. Obviously, they can find you on social media, but if they want to learn more, is the best place to go to the website? Is that?
Yeah, it still is. I mean, we're a startup, so we kind of have to manage as much as we can across all these different channels. But a lot of our social media, we've got a couple of great folks, a lot of LSU grads. Evan Sachs was a kid over here with the Reveille, and a journalism student. He's been doing our social media for a while, and so we try to keep up and answer things as quickly as we can. Sometimes, when we've had that viral post on TikTok or things have happened, I mean, we try to, we're drinking through the fire hose then, and we're getting thousands of emails a day and just trying to get back to all of them, at some point. But yeah, the best way to reach out to us is definitely on the website, info@tigerair.com or shop@tigerair.com. Yeah, we're really excited about where we're going from here. I think the Zephyr for us is kind of the culmination of figuring out that add-on space.
It's kind of like your iPhone, right? Apple,
Yeah,
everybody can have this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what you've created, like the football helmet, that was kind of, like their computers were kind of isolated to certain businesses.
That's
the
it.
helmet, but like this, everybody can have this.
Yeah,
I mean,
anyone can have this. That's right. Literally anyone wearing a hat can have this.
Male, female, kids, it doesn't matter. I mean,
we were out there actually. I was out there yesterday with Hayden Travinsky and the baseball team.
Yeah.
So we're going to be selling at the games a limited release of purple and gold Zephyrs all this season, and we're taking part of those proceeds are going back to several different LSU initiatives and athletics initiatives as well.
Cool.
But man, going out there with the baseball team and having them come off a national championship and having players putting it on, going, man, I would play with this on, was just such an incredible, testament. And we had Hayden over there punching it into the side because we get so many people reach out about their kids or as catchers, just dealing with the heat. Catchers really have it hard. And Hayden was just able to clip it on the inside of his mask. He wears a 2-piece. And he's like, dude, if I have 2 of these on, man, he's like, this is wild. He's like, it feels so good.
Wow.
So we were out there prototyping and working with the baseball team. But, yeah, I mean, this partnership with LSU is just so special. Everything we've gotten to this point, we owe to the university and the partnerships we've built here, and the access and support they've given us from the engineering school to, the innovation departments, guys like Andy Moss and folks that have really backed us from an incubation standpoint. So, coming back to LSU every time, it's special for us because, we get a lot out of this, out of being, we put on the boxes, born on the bayou for a reason. It's important for us as far as where we're coming from and the support we've been able to build in South Louisiana, across the state of Louisiana, and in the Gulf South. But this one for us, we feel like is got a big mass appeal. It's a more premium price point, but again, we're trying to make something that's higher end, better product than the generic kind of neck fans that are out there. And this is all kind of born and created out of the state of Louisiana. So we're super proud, and we feel like it's going to be pretty neat the next year here.
So starting today, on at least a minimum of 3 social media posts on all of our platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and what am I missing, Stewie? Twitter. On all of our social media posts that we put out, we will be tied to Tiger Air on those social media posts. So if you're looking for Tiger Air social media, if you're following us, you'll run into them. We're going to be joined with them here through football season. So make sure you follow them on all those socials first so you can keep up with all the product information and all of the ways to get information and to see Jack and the crew this weekend in Baton Rouge. They'll be outside of Mike the Tiger's cage on Saturday. They'll have a booth set up where you can stop in, check out the product, see what's going on. They've got a limited purple and gold edition that you can pick up that day, but you got to check out the Zephyr because, like we said, I mean, it's for everyone. I mean, really, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're a sports fan or if you're doing gardening around the house. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, you can use it. So TigerAir.com is the website. Great logo. It is really inspired through South Louisiana and LSU. And as Jack said, if you support the cause, a lot of it going back to LSU and supporting some ground level stuff. So we're excited to be partnered, man. We really are.
Thanks, Jordy. Yeah, we are too, man. This is awesome.
Sweet. Jack Kavich, he's the president of Tiger Air. We've been telling you about the product every day. We're going to have it live on set right here. We'll have it on the microphone. We'll show you the durability of it throughout the year. But whether you're a hunter, if you work in the industrial field, if you're just a sports fan, or like you said, you just Jane around the house, Joe around the house, kid around the house, everybody can use it. Check it out online, tigerair.com. And we will be telling you all about it throughout football season. Make sure you're following us on social to keep up with it. Great to see you, big fella.
Thanks, Jordy. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. We'll see him out tomorrow at Tiger Stadium. As for everybody out there, thank you for a great week. All the likes, the shares, the follows, the comments, the interaction. It's been awesome, man. It's been fun to get up and do the show this week with all this energy. Let's keep it up next week. Remember, if you have not subscribed to the show, please check out and give us a subscription. If you hit that bell, you'll know when we get notified. You'll get notified when we go live. We appreciate everybody for being out there. I like Alabama and Alabama, Texas. I like Texas A&M with the Aggies traveling over to Miami. Hopefully LSU can work out some of the kinks from last week and get it right heading into SEC play. Have a great, safe weekend. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. Get on TigerAir.com and pick up a Zephyr for the weekend. It's a easy order. It's easy to find out about. If you can't order it online, stop in and see Jack on Saturday outside Mike the Tiger's cage. We'll be back with you on Sunday night. Our first Sunday night show coming at you to recap the weekend. So make sure you're subscribed and alerted so you know when we come at you. RMB Builders builds us every single day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah. Monday through Friday.